Good evening, everyone. Hello, world. My name is Jerry McPherson, Director of Economic Empowerment for the Greater Phoenix Urban League, coming to you once again with another installment of our Business Sense Bootcamp, sponsored by Comerica Bank. And as you can see on the screen, we have one of our panelists, Darryl Johnson from Business Credit Works, Darryl Johnson from Business Credit Works, as well as Summer Fawcett representing Comerica Bank once again. We'll be getting started in just a few moments. So, definitely, Darryl and Summer, we are gracious to have you a part of this program once again. Tonight, we're talking about the ABCs of business credit, the fundamentals of building business credit. And as we all know, business credit is, particularly in today's age, is of the utmost importance and is one of those things that are often overlooked. So tonight, we'll be talking about that. If you're a small business owner, if you are an existing business owner, if you are an aspiring business owner, you're going to want to understand, learn, and digest as much of this information as possible. Is going to help you navigate how to run and grow your business in the most efficient and effective way as possible. So if you ever joined us before, you know the drill. Like, comment, share, drop a comment, let us know that you're with us. Like the event, like the Urban League page, send this link to your friends and family and let them all know that we got some great content coming up. We want as many people a part of the program as possible. So we'll get started in like less than a minute, but just want to make sure that Summer, I know you're always ready. Summer is always ready, right? Darryl, I know this is the first time this is not the first time that you connected with the Urban League. You were with us one other time when we did Entrepreneurs Unite, I believe the program was.
Really early on, about 3 years ago, when I was living in Phoenix.
Right.
Yep.
That was a great program. I think we spent about a full day covering various topics. So I remember you had great content back then, and I just know that you're going to deliver just the same level of quality content today.
Good. I'm glad you guys got benefit from it because I enjoyed doing it. It was really good to share. Right.
Always glad to have you. Always glad to connect with other business folks in our community. And we're full of talent and expertise and skills, and it's of the utmost importance that we come together as often as possible and share that with the rest of the community so they can benefit from that as well. So without any further ado, I guess we can get started. Once again, Jerry McPherson, Director of Economic Empowerment for the Greater Phoenix Urban League. This is another installment of our Business Sense Bootcamp, sponsored by Comerica Bank. This series is fully intent on giving our small business owners the information, tools, and resources they need to successfully grow their business. We are experiencing quite a bit of turmoil in our country right now. And as we all know, small businesses have been hurting the most, particularly Black-owned businesses. I believe the number last I checked was 40% of Black-owned businesses did not survive COVID, the economic impact of COVID-19. So we are trying to be very intentional in making sure that business owners within our community are receiving as much information and all of the information they need to be successful and pivot during these turbulent times. So last thing, or to repeat myself, like, comment, share, let the world know that you are with us tonight. We want to get as many people to this program as possible because there's going to be some valuable content that we share today. Now, without further ado, I would like to introduce Summer Fawcett, Assistant Vice President and External Affairs Market Manager for the Arizona market for Comerica Bank. Summer, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Jerry. Yeah, I'm excited to be here. For those who have witnessed Jerry's amazing way of translating, understanding business to the community, welcome again. I am with Comerica Bank, and I handle the financial education, financial literacy for the bank in the state of Arizona. And one of the main things was business sense during, normally just understanding how to run a business. But ever since the pandemic hit and ever since the economy kind of took a turn, beginning of March up until now, a lot of business owners could care less about, how do I grow my business? How do I make my business make sense? What's my 5-year plan look like? They're like, how do I survive right now? And that's the main thing that we're trying to come across. The Business Sense Bootcamp is kind of like a catapult into the pandemic, what is happening, and how to do something in real time and make it make sense for you, for your family, for your business. So I'm very excited to be here. I'm so excited to hear the ABCs of business credit, because business credit is such a necessity when you have a business. Now, we understand personal credit is necessary in the very beginning stages of your business, but if you have business credit, then you kind of take the pressure off of you and put it into your business, which is fantastic. You're not your business is not you. So it should be a divide. There should be a difference. And I'm excited to hear the details of how that's going to go. And I'm here sitting in the background. I'm here to answer questions as the bank, as a corporate perspective, but ask all the questions you can, because a lot of times you won't have this access immediately. So you have an hour and a half of information, and get all the questions. There's no such thing as a dumb or stupid question, no such thing as a wrong question. Ask it, because I guarantee you someone else is thinking the same thing you're wanting to ask at the same time. So we're here to answer all the questions. And if we can't answer that question specifically for you, we will get back with you. But I'm excited to be here. And thank you so much, Jerry, for hosting us.
My pleasure. And thank you once again for your support, leadership. You've been, I can't say enough about the support that you've given me in the Urban League and the Urban League Young Professionals since we connected just, maybe 2 or 3 years ago. So we are greatly appreciative of everything that you've done for us, and we hope to continue making you proud of our efforts.
We will.
So Darryl, I would like to introduce Darryl Johnson of Business Credit Works. As I mentioned earlier, Darryl has also worked with us in the past when we did our Entrepreneurs Unite program. I believe it was at the University of Phoenix a couple of years ago. So for those of you who may have been in attendance, let us know, drop it in the chat. If you were not in attendance, it was a one-day boot camp where we targeted, we did marketing, we had a couple of lawyers on site, so the ramifications of organizing your business. We had a segment on, I believe it may not have been business credit. I don't quite remember what the topic was.
We had a panel of lenders up there also.
Right. And we had a couple of representatives from the SBA. It was a powerhouse of talent that, again, we are intent on connecting with our community members. So tonight's program, we'll be talking about the ABCs of business credit. And so Darryl is an expert in the field, and we'll be talking about, how you can leverage business credit to grow and market your business. Darryl, if you can, tell us a little bit about, kind of like, what was your interest into this field?
My interest was 20 years in finance. I started my career in finance 10 years at Charles Schwab in the brokerage world and operations. Then I moved over to the banking world, where I've been a loan processor, short sale negotiator, foreclosure specialist, loan originator. I say all that to say another 10 years in the banking side, retail. So about 3 years ago, I stepped out and started Business Credit Works, because I saw a need for business owners to be in a position of power to grow their business and also to protect their families. So
about 10 years ago, you entered the world of business credit. I know that, we personally connected on and spoke about this topic at length, So in your experience, as you've been trying to spread the wealth of knowledge that you have, what have been some of the common challenges that you faced in sharing this information with other business owners?
Too good to be true. I've looked at it on YouTube. And I tell everyone in my workshops, when doing your due diligence, if you Google Dun & Bradstreet, Experian, and Equifax, they all offer their version of business credit. Not to mention, Dun & Bradstreet's been around since 1800. I didn't invent business credit. It's been around that long. So it's just another tool in the toolbox for business owners to be aware of, to leverage, and to use.
So what's great about that, like most things, you have to immerse yourself in the topic if you're going to, consider calling yourself an expert. We know you've been pursuing this for about 10 years. And as far as, I guess tell us a little bit about how long. I know you've been involved in other ventures and other business activities, but how long has business credit been your primary area of focus?
Business credit's been around for about, well, going on 4 years now, actually. I left corporate America
Right.
to pursue business ownership. And what I quickly learned is corporate America doesn't prepare you for business ownership. I had one slice of the pie as a loan processor, short sale negotiator, all of those roles that I had. But I wanted to step out and challenge myself and to share the information with business owners, because it is it's a secret, and it is a game changer once you learn about it, how to do it, how to grow it, and how to leverage it. It's a game changer.
Right. It's definitely a game changer. I know one thing, and we'll get started with the program in just a moment, but it's a point of reference. As some of these small businesses were facing the challenge from the pandemic and trying to get some of the funding from the SBA and some of these banks. I know that I even had clients myself that were not considered for the EIDL loan because they didn't have any business credit. They were in operation, but like most small mom and pop shops, they're operating independently. They don't have the complete structure of maybe a larger size business. And they were victim of that and not be able to get some of the funding that they were desperately needing. And had they pursued business credit or been intentional in establishing it, they would have been in just a much different position post pandemic. So this is, unfortunately, for some people, this may be too little, too late, but it's never too late to get started. You don't know what's coming around the corner. And again, if you are a business owner, you're going to take yourself seriously, and you just have to give attention to this. Like, there's just no way around it.
None, especially when we're still in our current environment with a new round of stimulus coming out with the PPP. The government's the biggest game in town as far as lending.
Right.
And that SBA uses that SBSS, Small Business Scoring System, which is a combination of your personal credit score and your business credit score to come up with that SBSS score.
Right.
So I know I can talk about this.
Too much information. We got a whole program ahead of us. So actually, that's my cue to let us know that we need to segue and get to the program. So Darryl, I will hand you over the keys to the car, and feel free to take it away.
Thank you. And I apologize. I am a credit geek. I love this stuff. I love giving people options, because as a business owner, it's about the options and the tools in your tool belt to figure it out. I just want to first thank the sponsors here for allowing me to speak on their platform. I love sharing the information and growing our knowledge base in our community, because I go by the motto, each one, teach one. So, and please, as Jerry said, tag other people, share this, invite other people to check it out. And we'll talk about business credit and go from there. Okay. So I touched a little bit about my background. Started with Charles Schwab. I had my own drive-by appraisal company where I did what they call broker price opinions, which is a snapshot of value for multiple lending institutions. That was my first taste of independent business owner, I should say. 4 years working from home, loved it. I was living in Phoenix at the time, and the market got kind of crazy. So I jumped in corporate America and got a role at JP Morgan Chase, Bank of America, Wells Fargo. As I said, I've done short sale negotiation, foreclosure, loss mit, loan origination. So the loan processors are a vital part to understanding the guidelines on how to get the file process and get the underwriters to approve you. And so they're grading the paper. So our mission at Business Credit Works is to help businesses obtain the capital and credit they need to fuel their dreams. So what we're going to talk about tonight is an overview of what is business credit, the benefits, how to build business credit, some additional tips, and then we'll do a recap. And just a reminder, this is a high level. As you guys think you kind of can sense, I can go really deep with this. So just a question. I think we can take questions. How many of you guys have heard of business credit?
So we have a few people in the audience. We got people from Phoenix. We got people from Santan Valley. So if you can in the chat, feel free to drop and let us know if you've heard of business credit or not. And we are streaming on multiple platforms. We got 3 channels on Facebook and 2 channels on YouTube. So folks are coming in from all over. We got a couple of people saying they've heard of business credit. A couple of people say they are. There's a couple of people saying that they think business credit is one thing, but they already know that they had some misconceptions. I guess that's the message they're trying to convey.
Right.
All right, yeah, we got a couple of people that are familiar with business credit, and obviously, I'm assuming that's what brought them to the program.
Good. So it's like an urban legend, myths out there around business credit also. Like I said, YouTube is a great platform for the seed, but then you need to really get with someone who can give you the watering to really grow that information you're getting and to validate what you've heard. So first of all, everything you know about credit, forget about it. That's on the consumer credit side of things. We're going to dive into commercial credit, business credit, which is a totally different department. The person at the counter when you go into the store, that's the retail division. Sometimes they won't have a clue. As I said, no, a lot of times they won't have a clue when you're talking about opening up a business account. What is business credit? Business credit's just that. It's credit that's obtained in your business name and your company's employee identification number, your EIN. So I'm going to use EIN throughout the presentation versus employee identification number. And it's based on your business's ability to pay and not you, the business owner. Business qualifies. Once you apply for credit, you can qualify with vendors to get MasterCard, Visas, American Express. Your company also can qualify for auto financing. The business can qualify for credit lines, loans, all in the business credit name. Now we're going to touch upon the benefits of business credit. Doubles your buying power. I want to stay here for just a second and unpack this one. What I mean by this slide is, for example, if you've got a consumer credit card with a $10,000 credit line, say, for example, then you have your corporate credit card with another $10,000 credit line. In essence, you've got $20,000 of credit for your startup project. Okay, so in essence, it's doubled your buying power. The first thing I advise my clients to do is you take that $20,000, get into your project, and when you get the money back from it, if you can't pay both credit cards off, pay off your personal one and leave that debt on the company. That mitigates your risk because it's on the company and not on your personal. And I don't think I talk about this in my presentation, but the two credit profiles, they don't talk to each other. So the debt that's on the company doesn't show on your personal and vice versa. And like I said, this is a high level, so we're going to touch upon several different points. Makes you more lendable. And in the sense of, first thing they ask for when you go to buy for a car, personally, what's your credit score? Then they add on your W-2 money. Now they're going to ask you what's your business credit score and add on your revenue. So as much positive financial data you can give a lending institution, it's going to speak to character, because credit, whether it's business or personal, speaks to character. So if your company is paying its bills on time or you are paying your personal bills on time, that's reflective in the score, which speaks to character, which lenders love that. It makes them feel warm and fuzzy that this person really manages their debt and it's reflective in the score. And I apologize for the typo here. It has nothing to do with business credit, personal credit, I'm sorry. Business credit, personal credit, two separate files, because you were making purchases from vendors who extend companies lines of credit, and then you're making a payment. So you're literally are building a credit profile, and you're not personally guaranteeing the debt. And personal guarantee is a whole nother topic. It's just when you have to personally guarantee your business debt by using your social security number. But with this, the way that we work the business credit program is because you're making purchases and making payments, 30-day reporting cycle to Experian, Equifax, Dun & Bradstreet. Now you're building a credit score and credit profile. Business credit, it's fast. It's fast to establish about $50,000 in varying trade lines, from net 30 accounts to store credit cards, gas cards, and MasterCard and Visa. Takes anywhere about 6 to 8 months roughly, because you're making purchases from vendors who extend lines of credit, and it's the same credit reporting cycle. But as opposed to the consumer credit side, how long would it take you to amass $50,000 in different credit lines? So it takes a relatively short period of time to establish that. More, very, very important. The credit scores are based on one thing. Did you pay? Did you not pay? Or better yet, did your business pay and pay on time or before time? Or did you not pay? As opposed to, next slide, as opposed to what we know is the consumer credit world, where it's looking at the algorithms, looking at your payment history, your utilization, length of credit history. That's out the window when it comes to business credit. All I was looking at is, did your company pay? And preferably pay before time, because that's how you can get a higher credit score. And let me just touch on the credit score for just a quick second. It's actually called a Dun & Bradstreet Paydex score. Okay. And you guys will hear that as you dive more into business credit. I don't talk about that too much in tonight's presentation, the scoring system, but Dun & Bradstreet is called a Paydex score. That's why business credit's perfect for startups. Why? Because you're buying from vendors who extend companies' lines of credit. You're making your payment, 30-day reporting cycle, and you're building that credit profile based on your payment history with your company. No cash flow requirements. Okay? Don't care if you're a startup. Don't care if you made no money for the first 3-5 years. There's no cash flow requirements because you're making purchases and you're paying for them, and it's progressing on the credit profile. Gives you the competitive advantage. And this one I want to stay for just a second, because I'm going to talk about this in the sense that if you're a minority-owned business, veteran-owned, woman-owned, LGBT, where you go start going for government contracts, they will pull your Dun & Bradstreet credit report. So if you're going for a government contract and an underwriter is comparing apples to apples, two minority-owned businesses for one contract, they have to eliminate one company and document why. So they'll pull your Dun & Bradstreet credit report. So company A had a credit score, company B did not. Also, in the sense, competitive advantage is that credit score is going to play a part in bond insurance, business insurance, and in the lending when you start going for loans. No collateral requirements because making purchases from vendors, making the payment, building a credit profile. Straightforward. This is very, very important because so many times in the community we think cash is king. And I tell people, if cash is king, credit is queen, and a happy queen is a happy home, because credit is how you grow and scale your business. If you're looking at things as a cash perspective, which that's how we have been taught, is we don't understand credit. When I first started my business and talking about credit, it took me a while to understand credit represented pain. It represented embarrassment, ashamed. I didn't know. I didn't know how to handle it. No one taught me. So I try to make it a safe place to have communication about, so what? That was the past. This is the future. Here's some tools to get you back, get the wheels back on the bus and get your business the credit and funding that it needs. I put this slide in here to kind of drill my point home. This is a Walmart. And if you see the trade lines, there's 513 trade lines. Credit, vendor credit, or net 30s, they call it also, meaning if it's a net 30 or net 22, that vendor has 22 days to pay the invoice. So when you go to the Walmart, the shampoo, the water, the ketchup, trade lines, net 30 vendor accounts. They've extended Walmart that information. So you can see they have 513 just from this slide. Every company in America leverages credit to grow and scale their business. Now we're going to step over to how you build business credit. First thing we want to do is what actually I call this a compliance checklist. Okay. We're going to move to the next one. Your business entity. EIN number. That's very important because a lot of times we will have our businesses structured as a sole proprietor, meaning in our social security number, and we haven't established an employer identification number in EIN. So that's the first step, is establishing your EIN and then establishing an entity. Entity is an LLC, S Corp, C Corp, nonprofit. Anything that has an EIN number attached to it can have a separate credit profile because in reality, it's a separate new business. So if you've got 3 companies, each company can have a separate credit profile because they have 3 different EIN numbers. Business address. I want to touch upon this one because a lot of times we will do a couple of things. One, we will use our home address when we establish our entity with the Secretary of State. That's problematic in a couple of different reasons. One, if you're a single woman, that information is public information. So I tell my single clients, the men too, but especially the women, if they're single, is if I know your business name, I know where you registered your company, I can then find out you're using your business name and know the address. So if you used your home address, that is just an unsafe practice to do. So there's also what's out there called virtual offices. Okay. A PO box is a huge red flag to a lender. Huge, huge red flag to a lender. So we don't advise ever having a PO box. And the example I would use, we have a few more slides, but I want to give you this example is, if I ask you to borrow $1,000, then I give you a PO box and I give you a cell phone number and I give you a Gmail free email account. How comfortable would you be in loaning me $1,000? PO box, cell phone number, and I'm a business, but I got a Google account or a Yahoo email account. And in my workshops, people were like, well, no, I wouldn't give you any money. It's like, exactly. But you're asking the lender to do that. We don't know you. So all we can do is validate databases. So what I mean by that is the IRS database, when you sign your tax returns, that little fine writing is saying this is true and factual information. So the IRS will update in their database your business address. That database talks to the Secretary of State's database, which talks to Dun & Bradstreet's database. They want to validate you are a true business. So there's the algorithms when you apply for credit are so important to have everything match up. As I tell people, you know your home address, right? You never get that wrong. Why would you get your business address wrong? Because any inconsistencies that the computer sees is going to throw a red flag. And too many red flags is going to kick to a no or kick to a manual underwrite. Phone number, as I said, cell phone number. No, there's virtual numbers you can get also, somewhere like $10 a month, that you can actually have a business phone number. And actually, Sprint, commercial division, they report to the credit bureaus. So that's what I call a two for. One, you can go to Sprint, the commercial division, they report to the credit bureaus to help you not only supply you with a phone number, business phone number, but they're also helping you build your business credit score and credit profile. Email address and website. Website, and let me step back for a moment. These are guidelines, guys. In our world, guidelines are different than hard, fast, must have, do not pass go, do not collect $200 rules. Meaning the website, it's a guideline. Email address one, I take that back. That one is a hard fast. Yeah, you need to have a business email address to be taken seriously. Because the first thing a person is going to do is look at your business card. They're going to Google your website. That's why I'm going to look at everything to make sure you're legit business. Any licensing, state licensing that's needed, everything needs to match. Business listing. So what this talks to is all of the search engines, for example, Yahoo, Bing, Yelp, all of those databases need to match up. 411 directory, yellowpages.com, because all the lender can do is confirm databases. So if we're doing a search for your company and it has no phone number on Yahoo, wrong address on Bing, no information, too many inconsistencies. So it just makes things a lot easier having everything match. Just as your home address, your business address. And also too, it helps in the search engines, and it helps your businesses be able to find you in the search engines and give you higher ranking because things are matching and you're more consistent business. An example I use is Sprint headquarters in Kansas City. I'm back home in KC in Overland Park. That's same address. No matter where you type it, who you Google it, it's the same one. So that's the congruency. Things need to match. This is so important because we do a lot of commingling, meaning we will have a personal account that we're using as a business account. So literally, line item, this is personal, this is business. This is personal, this is business. Establish a separate business account, okay? Because one of the things lenders look for, because let's say back in the day, they looked at when your business was established, your LLC, S Corp, C Corp, nonprofit, because that 1 to 5 year mark from an underwriting perspective is a volatile time. So if you establish your company and it looks like a seasoned company, that was great. We underwriters love that. Okay, this is a seasoned company, been around for 6 years. Only to come to find out, they just established your bank account a month ago. So just because you establish your entity, you didn't establish a bank account. And we look at it as when you can take money is when you are a business, not when you created the entity, when you're set up to take money. So we'll look at that date. And just a recap of things I talked about, I think I went through them kind of fast. Like I said, this is high level. We talked about the credibility, which is I call the compliance checklist. And under there, that umbrella, your entity, LLC, S Corp, C Corp, nonprofit, your EIN, business address, phone number, email, website, any licensing that the state requires, the business listing, and that's the congruency with the search engines, and then business bank account. Can't stress that enough. Now, getting set up with the CRAs, which is a credit reporting agencies. We're going to touch upon this. Credit reporting agencies for business credit, Dun & Bradstreet's #1. They're the biggest. They're gangsta. They've been around the longest. They sell their old information to Experian and Equifax, okay? Dun & Bradstreet's been around since about 1800. So as I tell people, I didn't invent business credit. It has been a tool that business owners have had at their disposal forever. We just don't know about business credit, how to do it correctly, and more importantly, how to leverage it and use it wisely. Because credit is a fear. We stay away from everything credit, as opposed to tackling it and learning about it. But we're changing that in the community by having these courses to talk about credit and to deal with the embarrassment, the shame, the I didn't know, I was young. I've heard them all, and it's okay. It's okay. Today's a new day. Don't let that stop you from getting the money and the other credit that you need to grow your dream and build your legacy for your family and for your kids. A lot of times we're the first going down this path. So based off what you're building, you need to build a house of concrete. Bookkeeping, consumer credit, business credit, all of those things should be just mapped out and perfect. That's a house of concrete. Next step is getting approved for vendor credit. Let's talk about vendor credit. It offers net 10, 15, 30, and that's just the number of days to pay the invoice. This is the hard one because 90% of trade vendors do not report to the business reporting agencies. So knowing that when you apply, do they report to the business credit agencies, and when they report and who they report to. And those are things we go into more detail in the class, just to be conscious and aware of to ask those questions, okay? We can go through this one. And just to recap, we talked about the credit reporting agencies to get your report. I'm going to throw this in here. If you guys have established businesses now, and you don't know what your credit score is, your business credit score, or if you even have one, there's a website called nav.com, NAV.com. It has a free version and a paid version. It's what we use in our program. So with the free version, it gives you a grade. Actually, everybody starts off with F, and you work your way from F to an A. If you have an F, don't freak out. It just means you have nothing reporting. If you have a D, you got a few things reporting. See what I mean? You go from an F, and as you get more trade lines established, you go from F and you graduate up to a B or an A. The paid version will actually give you a score. But just to get an idea, I would say check out the free version of NAV and see if you've got anything reporting, because you might be surprised. Some of the vendors that you've been working with might be reporting on your behalf. So you're getting a 2 for. 1, you're getting a line of credit from them. And 2, they're reporting and helping build your business credit. And credit tip, once you start getting those vendor trade lines, just keep applying. Like I said, this is high level, but there's a methodology, the madness to the credit program and how do you do things in a certain steps and orders. As you get approved, continue using that credit regularly, because one thing that will happen is as you're using your credit in the business credit world, the commercial world, they're going to increase your credit limits automatically. And credit limits are 10 to 100 times higher than on the consumer side, because they're not looking at your W-2 money. You're looking at your revenue as you grow and grow and grow. And as you're using the credit card, you're a company. You need higher trade lines. You need higher credit scores. So you don't have to call them up and, hey, can I get a credit line increase? Okay, what's your W-2 money? Let me run a credit report. No. Out the window. As you're using your credit cards naturally in business, they will increase your credit lines. And let me also touch upon this. Another big difference in the consumer credit world and the business credit world. As you guys are probably aware of, it's called the FCRA, the Fair Credit Reporting. Well, in the business credit world, that doesn't apply. They can deny you, and they do not have to tell you why. As in the consumer credit world, they have to tell you why, one, and they also have to get your permission to pull your personal credit report. As I said earlier, with your business name, I can go to the Secretary of State. So if you and I are trying to go into business together, I want to do my due diligence and see how well your company pays its bills and if it has a credit score. So I don't need your permission for that. I can go directly to the Secretary of State, business name, find out the information I need to find out, and just analyze the data and see if I want to move into business with you. And leveraging business credits, I talked about earlier, doubles your buying power, because the two credit profiles, one's built in your Social Security number, the other's built in your EIN number. The credit doesn't show on either. I tell people, think of it as a really bad, messy divorce. Neither one wants to see, talk, mention the other person's name. So the debt that your company is carrying doesn't show personally, and vice versa. Okay, that's huge. It is huge. Another good thing to do with business credit is cash advances. A lot of credit cards come with check writing abilities. So a strategy that if a business owner can't make payroll and they've got a $20,000 credit line, access that cash, make payroll. Once you've got accounts receivable coming in, pay that invoice off. So I tell people my business is the business of giving you options and giving you tools in your toolbox, because as business owners, there's times we should have ducked when we should have dived. We should have went left and we went right. You got to figure it out. And you got to throw everything that you can in the kitchen sink at situations, but put yourself in the position of power and have your personal credit, your business credit, your bookkeeping all mapped out, because you're going to make different moves knowing that your credit and your credit and your money is all taken care of. It's all mapped out, as opposed to jumping in and then trying to figure it out and trying to borrow from friends, family. Just take the time and build the foundation out the right way. Don't rush it. Just plant the seed 6 or 8 months, and then before you know it, you'll be ready to it's going to take you to a whole nother level. So just to overview what I talked about in the second half. What is business credit? Went over the benefits. Went how to build it, really high level. Some tips, and then talked about a little bit how to leverage business credit. And this is just thank everybody for their time. And my mission statement again, mission at Business Credit Works, to help business owners obtain the capital and credit they need to fuel their dreams. There's my website, my contact information, and that's it. I thank everyone for attending, and I thank the sponsors for allowing me to speak on this platform.
No, Darryl, we have to thank you for giving us this 10 years worth of information, and somehow you managed to consolidate that into less than an hour. It's really mind-blowing. What the reality is.
Still got it.
I'm sorry, say it again?
I said, still got it.
Yeah, but I mean, that only speaks to the fact that we know you stayed high level. There's just so much more information under each of these stones once you turn it.
Right.
So again, if you're watching in the audience, if you have any questions for Darryl, please drop them in the comments. We will begin to answer those in just a moment. So keep plugging them in, and we will get through all of these questions, or at least as many as we can reasonably get to. So please keep the questions coming in. But I did want to just talk a little bit about the process of establishing business credit. It was quite a bit of information, but the reality is, depending on the maturity level of your business, some of this information is, you already have it, whether it's having a business location, having a phone number, having a website, so if you are an existing business, it may not be as long of a task in order to get your stuff together, right?
Right. And that's where the compliance checklists come into place. We're basically taking inventory to see how you're structured, because you might come to the table and you're going to breeze right through that compliance checklist piece because you're established business owner, you've got a location, business phone number, address, email, all of those things. So then you'll progress to the next level a lot faster.
Got it. So we do have questions coming in from the audience. So I'm gonna pull the first one that I see. And this question comes from Paul Underwood. What should be the first type of credit line we establish for a business?
Vendor credit, the net 30s, as I spoke of. The net 15, net 20, net 30, vendor credit. That's the first step when you start applying for credit. And a lot of times, these are businesses that people know of, and we've got some in the program that people don't know of. Quill, for example, Uline. Those are ones that are often shared on YouTube. They establish business credit, and those are great sources to start the process. So a Quill or a Uline, as I tell people, they sell cleaning supplies, trash bags. Just make a purchase, but you also need to make a certain dollar amount purchase for it to trigger the credit reporting piece to happen. So they might extend you a line of credit, but they might not report. Okay.
So you mentioned a couple of things, and it leads me to my next question. But you mentioned Uline and Quill, and they all sell cleaning products and basic supplies. So for the most part, whatever sort of business you're running, like, these are items that you would need to purchase anyway.
Right.
So maybe a strategy, and correct me if I'm wrong, but maybe a strategy is, instead of going to your local Family Dollar or your local Walmart to make these purchases, go to one of these vendors that are actually reporting.
Exactly. And I tell people, if there's things that you feel that you wouldn't use, still purchase it, because you want to get a line of credit established, and then donate it. Donate it to a charity, get a write-off, donate it to a single mom, because you just want to get the line of credit extended to you. But like I said, they're trash bags, cleaning supplies, they're things you're going to use in your home.
So along those lines, so you mentioned two companies, but you also mentioned in a presentation that 97% of businesses that don't report.
Correct.
So how does someone find out who's reporting and who's not?
Working with a company like mine, we have relationships, and that's what we've been doing for quite some time, is establishing those relationships and research and knowing what vendors report, who they report to, in some cases, the day of the month that they're reporting to the credit reporting agencies. That's like the secret sauce of the program, is just knowing who to start applying with.
Yeah, so I know you shared the information once, and we'll provide it again at the end of the program. But there's just people who've spent the time to figure out who's reporting and who's not. But can someone find out on their own, like if they were looking at doing business with a vendor? Like, is that something they can call the corporate headquarters and find out on their own?
Chances are you're calling the retail division, not the commercial division, one. Two, the commercial division, chances are they'll tell you no, they don't do that. And another prime example is Vistaprint. Vistaprint has a commercial division, but if you call them up, they'll tell you no, they don't do that, but they do. And there's a way that you have to go about signing up for a commercial account and a special website and a link and all of that stuff. So, but yeah, and it finding out on your own, just like underwriting guidelines, they change all the time because we have vendors where they'll be in the program and we'll take them out because their rules have changed. So they might have higher limits on what you have to purchase to get a line of credit established. So that's what the big thing is. We monitor all that. And if we take them in, we bring them out. We take them in, we bring them out. So then you don't have to do that. That's why you hire a consultant, a specialist, because the learning curve is lessened. That's why you go to a CPA, your bookkeeper, for their specialty to get you from A to B a lot faster than you could on your own.
Okay, so yeah, I just want to reiterate, give the confidence to the people watching the audience. It is possible to find this information out on your own, but like most things in life, you're just often better served working with a professional on that. But, so rest assured, you can find information on, and maybe you will, somehow become an expert like Darryl in doing this research and, kind of begin sharing this information with the rest of your network. So one question that I have is, and maybe this might be too deep for today's topic, but if I'm a business owner and I do business with vendors, am I able to report the good payment history of my customers?
Yes, you can. There's a process on how you do that. Experian, for example, there's paperwork you can fill out that they will do an on-site audit. I mean, it's pretty rigorous what you have to go through, but you can become a vendor credit, a net 30 or net 15. A couple of things that's good for is going to give you competitive advantage. Meaning, say, for example, your company is a marketing company. Okay. So you do SEO and social media. So I'm researching to hire a marketing company. I can come to you and get my marketing done, as well as you're going to report my monthly payment experience to the credit reporting agencies on behalf of my business. So that's a two-for. You're extending me a line of credit, plus you're reporting to the credit bureau. So I look for businesses that I need a service anyway. Now do you report to the credit bureau? Because that's like a win-win.
So firstly, great question from everybody in the audience. Please keep them coming. Just going to continue unpacking the topic. We got a few more minutes that we have Darryl, and we'll be bringing someone back onto the line in just a few moments. But I see this as an opportunity for those in our community to leverage one another, to leverage our existence. And maybe that's just selling proposition for your business that, when, you've been in business already and you've been, developing a relationship with customers. If you can now tell your customers that, hey, we are now reporting to the credit bureaus of the business activity that you've been having with us for the past 1 year, 2 year, 5 year, 10 years, then maybe that's another selling proposition for them to even do business with you.
Competitive advantage makes you they're going to make it look at you differently over someone else that's offering the same product or service. One, two, there's also a manual way you can go about reporting that back history from vendors. It's getting a little more detailed, but yeah, manually you can go back and apply to report your past payment experiences also to build a credit profile.
Right. And so this in line with that, and I'm sorry, but this is just, these are the things that give me joy is talking about business and how to improve them and figuring out ways to do so.
Same here.
I guess this is just like a message to everyone in the community, like if it's about group economics, right? And working with one another and shopping with one another. If all of these one another's decide to start reporting to the credit bureaus, and all of the activity that you've been having is legitimate, good business that you've been doing, then everybody rises, right? I think it's rising tide raises all boats or something to that effect.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah, if everybody in the community makes a conscious effort to do good business and report the good activity of these other business owners, then everybody benefits from it, right?
Exactly. I tell people we can solve our own problems. Money and credit has been our downfall and our problem. We can solve our own problem. We have to tackle it, though, by getting in the spaces where we're getting educated on consumer credit and business credit and lending. Because there's a couple of workshops I went to in Phoenix. The grant workshop was full, but then they had another workshop where they had lenders and venture capitalists on the panel, and they were literally telling you, as I call it, the answers to the test on how to get funding from a lender as opposed to a grant workshop, which your odds of getting that grant are lessened versus you've got lending sources on a panel telling you do X, Y, Z, and you can get money. And that's like a guaranteed as opposed to a grant where you don't know the outcome of that, what that's going to be. Whereas with a lender or the VC, they're giving you the answers to the test on how you get money from us. Unfortunately, that room wasn't packed. It hurt my spirit because we need to be more in that room than the grant room. Nothing against grants, but for long-term sustainability, the credit, the lending is what's going to grow and build that legacy of wealth that we're trying to do for our families.
And that's an interesting, I guess, observation, right? Like that there was workshops, one was about grants and one was about the business credit, right? And, you know, the traffic went to one that was more of a, you know, immediate fix, you know, possibly, or just a quick fix, or, you know, some dollars that, you know, can get someone through the fiscal year versus the long-term play.
Long-term.
But you know, the best thing about that is if you attended the grant debate theoretically or actually, like now you are getting the business credit workshop delivered to you live stream on Facebook and YouTube by one of our experts. So you know, again, if you haven't been taking advantage of this, there's no better time than the present to do so. You got to plan for the long term, and which actually ties back to the story is you got to start planning for the future. You got to start planting those seeds. So
right. I was having conversations, with a friend of mine. We look at day to day and just trying to pay bills day to day. We're not hardwired to look at 6 months, a year from now, because we're just surviving day to day. So our mindset needs to change. That's how I grew up. Is just trying to get through the day to pay the bills. I'm not trying to think about a year from now. I'm just trying to get through the day. So just even having that conversation to change that mentality and that perspective expands you to a whole nother level of consciousness.
Right. So again, if you're out in the audience, continue to drop the questions. But now I'm gonna bring back someone for from Comerica Bank into the conversation. Who better to add input on this topic other than someone in the banking world, right? Mm-hmm. So Summer Fawcett, welcome back to the program.
Thank you.
So I didn't tell you this earlier, but that is the beautiful background that you have. It looks tranquil.
Thank you. It's literally just my office white wall. I have a little tree in the back, but thank you.
Right. We've all been known to be more and more clever during the pandemic and dealing with this.
Exactly. She's like, this whole thing.
It's something. It's sometimes I realize that too much is literally too much. Like more really means more. Like get rid of it and then start with minimal, and it makes it easier.
So I wanted to bring you back into the conversation because again, we're talking about business credit, working with small businesses, getting them to a maturity level to where they can grow and thrive, you know, and kind of put themselves in a position to sustain through the highs and the lows of running a business. So maybe you can speak to a bit about your experience with dealing with customers and how them having business credit have been able to help them navigate, the financial world.
Exactly. It's amazing that what you don't know, that you're not supposed to know, can hurt you. Having business credit is another level. And no matter what your income earning for your business is or whatever your positive cash flow is, having that business credit is like having an 800 FICO score. I mean, it says set you aside and say, oh, okay, great. We're gonna put you in a different department. You're no longer gonna speak with retail. Just kind of how Darryl said that once you go business credit, you now are with the commercial team, or you're with the business development, or you're with the wealth management team. It's a whole nother like room that you've never been involved in. And that's with banking as well. Our retail team can do one business credit item, and that's a credit card, a business credit card. Anytime your social security number is asked for, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to pull your credit. Anytime your EIN is asked for, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to pull your business credit. And that's the exact same thing. So when a bank says, hey, let's take down your EIN number, you're like, what do you want that for? I want a credit card. It's because they're trying to get you a business credit card. And if you don't have any credit established, so those net 15s, those net 30s that will help you, then they downgrade to a personal credit card that you just happen to have your business name on. But it's not going to be business credit because it's still tied to your social security number. And that's where that knowledge is power thing comes from. I mean, if you understand that from day one of starting your business that you need business credit and you still need personal credit. Now, don't come in with a 400 FICO score on your credit card and say, hey, or in your credit profile and say, hey, I want a $100,000 loan. Well, the answer's still going to be no. But if you know that in order for me to get from point A to point B, I need to work on both my personal and my business credit. And my business credit is going to be a lot easier to work on because I can just get these net 30s, which is similar to alternative credit for personal. So if you look at, you pay Cox, you pay utility bills, you pay your cell phone bills, those can be used as alternative credit with other lenders, but that's automatically business credit when you look in the business space. So I'm just saying this, that having the knowledge of I can have business credit, I can have personal credit. I have a $10,000 credit card with my personal credit, but I have a $200,000 line of credit with my business credit. Same cash flow, same everything, same money in the bank, but your business credit is utilized at a higher capacity than your personal credit is. And that gets you in a completely different door. No retail bank can approve your business credit other than the credit card. But if you go into now you're in a different space, you're like, hey, I get to go into work with, I have an officer assigned to me. You get kind of those perks. Have you ever gone on vacation and you're just like, why are they over there and I'm over here? Same thing. It's being a VIP in a business world. But all you had to do is maintain or produce business credit. And if it takes 6 months to 8 months, guess what? The best thing to do is to start now and look like 8 months from now, I can be VIP in business. I can have those same things. I can have that cash flow. I can get that growth. Because if you keep going to free, like Darryl said, free is there and free is always packed. But if you get knowledge based on, future growth, and it's not, 100 years of the future, it's like right now within the next 12 months, future growth. Because if you look back 12 months from now and say, if I just knew what I knew today, 12 months ago, I'd be in a better place. Well, take the information that you're getting now and be in that better place. I actually, and just so you know, and I'm not joking, my colleague was contacting me because we're doing a ton of work until 10 o'clock at night, it seems like. But she asked me if I could do something. I said, no, I'm in a boot camp right now. And I took a picture of one of the slides that Darryl had. She's like, oh, how can I get him over here? Because we need to know about business credit. She started asking me things about her own husband's business. I'm like, well, these are things that bankers don't always know. I don't know everything that Darryl speaks on. I can kind of tell you the bank's view of it. But if you wanted someone to actually get you to the position of actually having a business and utilizing your business credit, talk to Darryl. Get your business credit going. It is highly important.
It's so much that I would like to unpack for a moment, but the entire time you was explaining business credit, I was thinking, wow, like this is like VIP of owning a business, or VIP of banking. And then you you mentioned VIP a little bit later on. So
Right.
Exactly.
She nailed it.
Yep. Yep. Everybody's been there before. Like, why don't I have that same experience, same thing as those people over there? It's because of who you know and how you got there. So,
And just,
go ahead, Darryl.
I was just going to say, there's a company that I'm beta testing where they take everyday utilities, your phone bill, your utilities. So if you are renting space, they can take that information and send it to Experian or Equifax, and it acts as a vendor credit. They can do it on the personal side as well as the business side. So bills you're paying for anyway, your gas bill, your cable bill, why not get those reporting to help you establish credit in your business? Because, we looked at them as alternative credit back in the day. Your gym membership, your cell phone bill is a builder credit profile. Well, now they have it available for your business credit. So, like I said, I'm kind of a business credit nerd. I just love researching and learning about new things out there and new models out there to help give business owner options to grow their business and, like I said, more importantly, protect their family and build a strong cement foundation, not some foundation of sand.
yeah.
Because you're going to come at some point, you're going to come and need to have a conversation with a banker. So bring something to the party.
Yes. Yes. I actually have a question on you for that, Darryl. Jerry, do you mind if I ask a question really quick?
Take it away.
So we have a lot of business owners. I know a lot of business owners who want to pass their company on to their family members or their children. Does that business credit transfer, or does the new owner need to restart business credit?
Are they purchasing the company?
No, like if I had a kid and I'm like, no, I'm going to leave this for my a legacy item. I want to give this to my son.
Okay. So basically, that's company A has trade lines of $100,000. Company B has nothing established. So whether you get it transferred or you sell the company, those trade lines are attached to the company. So that's another advantage of having business credit with your exit strategy. So if I'm looking to buy a company or to get it transferred over in an asset like that, you've got trade lines that you can hit the ground running and credit and grow and expand the business, and it makes you more advantageous and more lucrative because you've got those trade lines established.
That's awesome.
So many benefits to trade lines and having that credit, because a CFO, COO responsible for money and credit.
Yeah.
So if a company needs to grow or expand, that's what they do, is make sure that is accessible to move. So when they go to sell that company's got $500,000 worth of credit.
Yeah.
That just inflated the value of the company.
Exactly.
So I wanted to go back to something that someone mentioned earlier when a potential customer or a customer walked into the bank. They are trying to apply for credit for the business credit, but they also will run their personal credit or have to guarantee the loan personally. And just now I'm putting my CPA hat on right now, and this is what the whole idea of establishing a business and creating a limited liability company or corporation to separate yourself from the liability of the business. If you take out a line of credit and you have the person to guarantee it, kind of defeats the purpose of establishing the business to begin with. If you're having to personally guarantee the activities of a business, just kind of like I said, is defeating the purpose of that.
Are you talking to me or Darryl?
No,
so I was responding to something that you had mentioned, and really I'm talking to the world about so I'm being long-winded, and this is like the worst thing you can do as a moderator. But the point that I'm trying to make is, you have to establish that business credit, keep it healthy, and grow as quickly as possible, so you don't have to risk your personal credit in order to advance or grow your business. And the other thing is just another reminder to take care of your personal credit as well.
Exactly. And if I could just piggyback off of a couple of things, um, when the banks extend you a line of credit in the credit card, they will lead people to believe that they're also going to report that trade line to the credit reporting agencies. I go back to tell people, he who has the gold makes the rules. They might extend you a line of credit in a credit card, personally guaranteed or not, but they don't report either to the personal credit or the business credit. They just extended you a line of credit. So those are other things we just make people conscious and aware of, to ask those questions. Because I will get, I have a business credit card from the bank, and I ask a couple of questions. One, do you see it on your personal credit? Yeah, you personally guaranteed that debt. Two, do you see it on your personal credit? Or if you've pulled your business credit, do you see reporting? No, I don't see it either way. They just extended you a credit card, but they're not helping you build credit. So there's banks out there that not only will they extend your line of credit, they will also tell you they're reporting to the credit bureau, which is helping you build that credit profile. So it's kind of a heads up in that respect. Okay.
Yeah, so I guess the important tidbit that there are banks out there that will report both branches of credit, personal as well as business. And Darryl is the guru to know those banks. So he's the man you're going to have to contact. And again, we'll share his contact information a bit later on. So we got a few more minutes in the broadcast. The questions have slowed up. Last chance, if you have a question for either Darryl or Summer or myself, feel free to drop it in the comments, and we'll love to get those answers to you tonight in real time. And of course, as usual, if we are not able to get answers to your question, we'll be sure to follow up. This video will live forever, or as long as Facebook is around, either whatever ends first, the world or Facebook. But you can always come back and watch the video. If there's anything you missed, you want to rewatch it, we encourage you to do so. The link will be available. Share with your friends, family, colleagues. We just want to get this information out here. It's completely important to growing and strengthening our communities. And I just want to hammer home the point that this business credit, like anyone that you are doing business with today, you need to be having this conversation with them tomorrow. If for nothing else, you somehow encourage them to start reporting your business activity. And if not, then you might have to find someone who's willing to do it. Again, it goes back to the value proposition. We got another question that came in from the audience. Paul Underwood is always on point with his questions. Are there any business entities that are more likely to be granted business credit? That's an excellent question.
No. The entities. As long as you're active in good standing with the Secretary of State, you've got all your paperwork together, doesn't matter. There's one thing I touched upon, even as a startup. One day out of creating your entity, doesn't matter, nonprofit, S Corp, C Corp, one day out of establishing it, you can start making purchases in a net 30 of a quill, for example. Okay, a good question.
That was an excellent question, Paul. And that's one thing that I learned or discovered when I was, a few years ago when I first started learning about business credit, is these trade lines that exist. Actually, let me reposition it from this perspective. When you walk into a Walmart or anywhere, right, and you shop, you buy, you pick up your goods, you walk to the register, you put it on the counter, and then you pay for it on the spot. Whether you use cash, debit card, or even a credit card, that vendor is getting their money on the spot. And that's like, okay, we got the money, you figure that out with your credit card company later. Big business generally doesn't operate that way. So if you were in, again, we're going to use Walmart since we mentioned them a couple of times already, and you purchased that I was gonna say air mattress, but that's like technology, right? But yeah, we're gonna go with air mattress. You purchase the air mattress, you pay for it on the spot. There's a good chance Walmart hasn't paid for that air mattress yet. So like they have net 30 terms
Mm-hmm.
and you have net now terms with Walmart. So you pay for it, they got their money, and they didn't send the manufacturer of that product their money until maybe another 30 days. Now when you think about Walmart had that money in their bank account, gaining that incremental interest, and didn't even pay for the product yet and already turned a profit. Like that's how business works. That's how big businesses win. And now we're learning the rules. So now it's kind of time to start. We need to start applying these rules.
Big time. And a huge piece of that Walmart, if I could just add this on, it's kind of on the point, off point. In the supplier and the diversity space, when you're a minority owned business, so Walmart has the supplier and diversity. So if you're a minority owned business, you can get in line to be on the shelves of Walmart. They will pull your business credit, Dun & Bradstreet, to see as part of their guidelines to get you on the product shelves. So you have to maintain a certain score, because part of their compliance is they'll pull your credit score, because the first sign a business or person is in trouble is a declining credit score. So annually, if Walmart pulls your business Dun & Bradstreet credit score and they see your credit score has dropped and dropping, hey, is there a problem? We see your credit score is dropping, because it's not going to be ABC shampoo wasn't on the shelf. It's going to be Walmart didn't have ABC shampoo. Not that the supplier was having internal problems. That credit score is an indication of danger, Will Robinson. So if it starts dropping, that's the indication that there's trouble.
Got it. So again, out in the audience, if you have any questions, this is just about your last chance to ask them. So yeah, but yeah, business credit, it's that, it's the mythological beast that we've heard about but never had a chance to like really meet. And today was the chance for you to actually meet that business credit. Another thing that I was thinking about when you explore business credit, those trade lines, you may discover there's a new business opportunity for you there. So just kind of going back to that strategy, or not even strategy, it's the reality of, as a vendor, you get the product, then you sell it, and then you pay for it after the fact. You'll learn there are products being sold right now, whether it's on eBay, OfferUp. You may learn of other institutions that need products in bulk, and they are looking specifically to do business with a minority-owned vendor. That you'll learn that there's opportunity for you to buy the product for some of these vendors giving you these trade lines, and you might discover a whole new business behind this. It's just so many opportunities out there, and we're just not all the way, made aware of it, of these opportunities. So yeah,
it's true. I'd like to say something on that as a lender and how that's viewed. A lot of people look at cash flow, meaning the amount of money coming in, the amount of money going out, and that's what cash flow is. But a lot of it has to do with the lines of credit that you might have, whether you utilize them or not. And when you have a line of credit, it puts you in a different, you want to say business demographic almost, because you are no longer in that less than 1 million. And I'm going to explain something that a lot of people don't want to hear when they're business owners. But when you're a business owner and your gross annual revenues are less than $1 million, you're considered a low to moderate income business, meaning you are you're in like poverty state is really what the government looks like. If your business makes less than $1 million a year, that means that you need help, that you haven't pushed past that $1 million mark. Well, that is exactly what business credit can do. It can get you the marketing that you need. It can get you the warehouses that you need. It can get you the commercial space. It can get you everything that you need so that you can get beyond that point. And once you get beyond $1 million, doors open up. There's levels of what you can do and what government contracts you can receive based on the income that you have. And another reason why is if you have a line of credit for $10,000 with your personal credit and you look for a line of credit maybe with your business credit at $500,000, that's still the very first level of being a business owner, getting lending. But we have not loan officers, they're business relationship specialists, but they lend on nothing less than $35 million. They lend on nothing less than like $2 million is sometimes a waste of their time, but they'll do it so that your business can be okay. So if someone's telling you, hey, $2 million isn't that great, but I'll go ahead and do it because, you know, we believe in you. Like $2 million is a lot of money. But in the business world, having a line of credit at $2 million isn't that much. But what you can do with that $2 million is they're expecting you to make $4 million based on that $2 million line of credit. And then you get a $4 million, and then you'll keep doubling it, and you'll keep doubling it. But that's exactly what business lines of credit will do. So if you get one, say you start off at 100,000, because that's considered that's like $100,000 line of credit with a business is like getting $1,000 credit card limit. If you want to put into perspective, that's kind of where the difference is. Start at 100,000, and then you can go higher. Like we give money to micro lenders so that they can lend to people we can't lend to, if that makes any sense. Mm-hmm. So because you might not get qualified with a bank for a business line of credit, go to what the micro lender or CDFIs, and that's a whole nother conversation, but go somewhere else and they can give you the money that we gave them to lend to you because our regulations won't allow us to. And that's how you get started with the business. So as soon as you get to 250,000 with them, come back over to us so we can take that 250,000 and turn it into 2 million for you. But you have to start somewhere. So you might not be able to start at 2 million, which is low, but you can start at 100,000. You can start at 50,000, and you can increase it. And they make sure that you can not recycle that. They make sure that you can underwrite that again in a year. And let's say you start at 50,000, great. Now let's give you 200,000, great. Now let's give you 400,000, great. Now you're bankable. Go to a bank. They'll give you a little bit more. So, but they want to see you utilize that line of credit, and don't just let it sit. You get it to use it, pay it back, so you can establish that credit.
Right. You know, and that's great perspective, you know, just whether it's $1 million in revenue or I believe you mentioned lending up to or less than $250,000 that, you know, many small businesses, and I'm talking micro businesses now, that, you know, they would love to get to that point where doing $1 million in revenue, and you're still a poverty-stricken business, you know, so and it's, you know, every big business once started off small. So like there's nothing embarrassing or shameful about that. It's just a matter of having the perspective of you are a small business, and, you know, you do want to get to that large part. So when you're in the small business stage, do everything that you can to get out of it as quickly and safely as possible. You know, like, or maybe the word I would say is methodically as possible. So establishing a business credit, opening up the trade lines, paying those trade lines on time. You know, just like any other credit, you know, you take it out, you want to get paid on time. You know, people like you more when you pay back early. You know, leverage all of those opportunities. Darryl, did you want to contribute to that? Sound like you've something to offer?
Yeah, there's a kind of a new emergence of credit cards coming out now where they are moving away from a traditional model where you have to have credit in order to get more credit, where they will look at your bank balance and give you a line of credit based on what you're running through the bank. Mm-hmm. So that's another way to help, because you'd be surprised people who are cash heavy, mm-hmm. but credit poor, as attorneys, dentists, sometimes they're very cash heavy, but their personal credit is not good. But this is another way that they can just use the money coming in their bank account to have a line of credit that reports to the credit bureau that helps them build their credit even more so now. And then you add on the traditional way of building credit. So I'm a color outside the box kind of business owner. And like I said, sometimes you got to throw everything in the kitchen sink at a situation and go back to options. It's all about having options and knowing the resources and the people to reach out to get that direction. So yeah, you can make those moves faster and with more confidence because you did your due diligence and reached out to the right people who made the right connections for you to have those conversations that you haven't even thought about yet, but to plant that seed and let that seed grow.
Yeah, you're right. And when we're speaking about getting lending out there with your business credit, once you're over, I'd say about $10 million, if you're asking for 20 million, most banks anticipate you to have $20 million in the bank. They're not going to lend $20 million to someone who has $500,000 in the bank. That just doesn't make any sense once you're over a certain limit. But if you're asking for 500,000 and you have, let's say, 50,000 in the bank, that makes a little bit more sense because they know you're trying to build your business. So there's ways of thinking, and that's where your experts come in. We don't anticipate you to know any of this information until you actually sit down and speak with someone. But having the path of, this is step 1, this is step 2, this is step 3, you plan to have those resources with you along your business, not just really quick, let me hurry up and fix this for me so I can move on to the next thing. No, you need these people with you consistently. And you need your CPA, you need your credit works counselor, because you're going to get to a point where you cannot manage it and they have to give you direction. So keep with your counseling, keep with your consultants. I mean, keep along with that, because that's who you need to grow your business. So you don't have to waste any time or thought capacity on trying to figure out on how you need to increase your business credit, when they can say, okay, I got it for you. Give me 2 months. You got it. We'll get it done. And you can go apply for that $500,000 credit limit. And then you don't have to worry.
Yeah.
And please, I've get this question a lot, where people will want to establish business credit and then they want to go out and have their business purchase a vehicle. Well, if you're a startup and you have zero revenue, but you've got business credit, so it's not a get rich quick scheme. This is a strategy in growing your business the right way. There's no shortcuts. Mm-hmm. So in order for your business to make a purchase, a car purchase, it has to have revenue coming in and tax returns, and 9 times out of 10 be in business for a year or plus before it can purchase a vehicle. So I want to set expectations is it's not a get rich quick. It is a viable solution and a resource and a tool that businesses use to grow their and scale their businesses. Okay.
I'm glad you made that point, because I will acknowledge, when I first heard about business credit, it was positioned to me as I don't want to say get rich quick, but like just accelerate your business overnight sort of thing, and get access to $2 million in 2 weeks, and it's just not realistic. And again, I think you mentioned it at the very beginning of the broadcast, was too good to be true. And maybe that's because every time they've heard it for other folks, it was positioned as it was too good to be true. And what we're here to tell you is that, like, it's good, it's true, but it's going to take some time. It's a methodical process. It's one where you got to be diligent. You got to pay your bills on time. It's just not going to happen overnight. But as we've each reiterated in our own way throughout tonight's broadcast, you gotta take the steps, and you got to take that first step, and you got to begin now. You need to. Darryl went through a list of things that you can go back and watch the broadcast of things that you need to begin doing, and that's establishing your business legitimately with the state, obtaining your EIN, get it off your Social Security number if that's what you're doing. There's plenty of steps that you can begin taking that you can start right now, or you maybe even started, but now you need to start collecting this information. So we are coming up close on time. Last chance for anybody in the audience. If you have any questions, if not, I would like to first give you the floor to get some final thoughts.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much, Darryl, for being on the Comerica Sense Bootcamp with Urban League Young Professionals. I mean, it's so much information that hopefully we have your email and your email, your business email and your website available so that people can ask questions. And I know that people are going to ask questions. I think you're an extremely important resource that people need to know if they're in the if they're in the process of getting business, or they've been in business for 20 years. I mean, it's never a bad thing. Just get started. So thank you so much for allowing this. This is the first time I've actually sat down and had someone implement the business credit aspect in any of our boot camps or business sense workshops. So thank you, Jerry, for actually suggesting this, because I think it's dynamic and it makes a lot of sense, especially in this day and age. So Comerica is just happy to be here, happy to be in part into our community, especially our Black community. I mean, there's, like, I think I keep saying this every time, there's not many of us here in Arizona. So the more we come together and figure out how we can impart knowledge and wisdom and understanding and kind of teach others what we did wrong and how to make it right so they don't have to do it, I think it's just a wonderful way of us to cohesively come together and not just say, yay, we're together, but build a business, do something. I mean, make each other look great, which is what you guys are doing now. So thank you again for allowing us to be here.
And I just wanted to take a moment to let the audience know your email address is available on the screen. It's in the chat. I didn't ask you beforehand, but I know you're already okay with this from experience. So if you have any questions regarding banking with Comerica, whether it's establishing a business account, applying for any loans for your business, I do encourage you to reach out to Summer at Comerica Bank. And I can't thank you enough. We are greatly appreciative of everything that you've been doing for the Urban League and the Urban League Young Professionals.
Thank you.
Darryl, I will yield the floor to you. I will pull back up your contact information as well. If you have some closing thoughts, please share.
Just thank you both, because it warms my heart when I have conversations in our community about business credit, and one, it's understood, it's welcomed, it's understanding that we have to grow our businesses up to a bank level. And as in everything that we have done, we succeed at, and we go over 100% over and above. And that's what we need to start doing in our businesses as far as consumer credit, business credit, reporting, all of those things. We excel in everything else and go 100% over. We need to take that same energy and apply to the books and the credit. So it just warms my heart, because I feel like I'm the grandfather of business credit. I've been doing it for a minute, and then speaking to the rooms of our people that look like me, and they get it, they don't get it, they come with the wrong energy, the right energy, it's all the above. But my goal is to leave my legacy to the young urban adults so they can change their platforms for their families. And with business credit, it does that. So thank you for having me. Jerry, thank you for thinking about me and reaching out. I enjoyed it. Like I said, I'm a geek when it comes to this stuff. I just love learning it and speaking of it and expanding people's minds and setting things up for a lending institution. So you guys have more to work with. When we do sit in front of you, like, oh, you don't talk to Darryl, okay? You got your business credit together, because we got something to work with now. So just thank you bottom of my heart. It just makes me feel really good to share this information.
No, Darryl, we thank you once again for sharing your time, energy, your expertise. I know you've been putting the time, energy, and efforts to become an expert in this field, and we're just happy that you've been able to share this information. Again, thanks to everyone out in the audience. Just a bit of housekeeping information. If you are a resident of Arizona, the voter registration deadline has been extended to October the 23rd, I believe, additional 2 weeks. So if you haven't registered to vote, still have 2 weeks to do that. I just learned earlier today that there were 34,000 people who registered to vote just yesterday in Maricopa County, which is a record. So salute to everyone who did that. Maybe it's your first time registering to vote. Maybe you just needed to update it, but salute to you for taking that step. If you have not registered to vote, again, you have until October 23rd. The census, the deadline has been reinstated to October 31st. If you have not completed the census, do so. Your community is counting on you. Generations to come are counting on you. There are 2 zip codes that I've been made aware that have been severely underreported, and that is 85040 and 85041. Both of those in South Phoenix between I-17 and South Mountain. So if you know anyone in those neighborhoods, reach out to them today. Encourage them to fill out their census. By not filling out their census, they are losing dollars to come into their community, whether it's infrastructure from roads and streets and lights and parks to fire departments and fire policemen properly allocated around their neighborhoods. Regardless of what neighborhood you're in, whether in or out of Arizona, make sure you're filling out the census. Your community is counting on you. You are losing federal and state dollars that will not pour into your community because you're not doing so. Other than that, I would like to thank everybody. I would like to thank our panelists, Summer, Darryl, for their time, energy, and efforts. I'd like to thank everybody in the audience for those very intelligent and articulate questions. If you're not a business owner, and you stuck around for this program, you just wanted to be curious, maybe you didn't have anything better to do, we greatly appreciate you. But I would like to challenge you to share this information with somebody else so that business owner that you are aware of, and let them learn and take advantage of this opportunity. It's something we uncovered. Like, this is a great way to strengthen our group economics, strengthen our community economics. If we can all empower our businesses to leverage business credit, to leverage reporting of it, and strengthen one another in the process, and we've all become better for it. So, everyone, thank you all for tuning in tonight, and we will look forward to the next installment of the Business Sense Bootcamp coming in just a few weeks. Have a good night.